Hi, Eagles. Go Draw today for letter Z. Today for letter Z, we're drawing our friend Z. You'll need your Go Draw book or a piece of paper, a pencil, and some crayons. Let's get started. We're going to write our letter Z in the corner. To make a letter Z, we slide back, slide down, slide back. That's a capital letter Z. Small letter Z, slide back, slide down, slide back. Just make it smaller because that's small letter. Capital letter Z, small letter Z. Remember, Z says Z, makes your tongue and your lips tickle. Then we're going to put a box around that letter, like so. And we're going to add today's date. Today is May, so it's 5/27. So we write 5-27. And it's 2020, so we write -20. 5-27-20. When you have our box ready, we're ready to draw a Z. We're going to start with Z's head, which is a circle but stretched out. And when we stretch out a circle, we call it an oval. So right up at the top of our paper, we're going to make sure that we come down a little bit to leave some space for his hair. We're going to draw an oval. So we draw a curve over and down and over and around, just like that. Nice job. Once you've got your oval on your paper, we're going to draw his ears, which are also ovals, but they're sitting up straight like a letter or like a number 0. Silly me, not a letter, 0, a number. So over here, I'm going to draw a 0 for one ear. And he needs one on this side too. A 0 for this ear. And then inside his ears, he has little letter C's. A little letter C here and a little backwards letter C there. Very good. Okay, we're going to go down to make his body, and it's a big letter U. Come from his neck, down for his big belly, and right back up. Nice work. Okay, now we're going to make his arms. His arms can be doing lots of things depending on what you want your Z to do. So if you have one arm, you could make it go up by coming out and curving and coming back down like yay. But if you want one arm to go down, you would just come out and curve down and then back up and around. Almost looks like he's dancing. Oh, yeah. Now he needs some feet so he can run around and play with the kids at the clubhouse. Those are still a letter U, so you draw down and up and down and back up. So once you've got his 2 arms and his 2 legs, we're ready to go add the details to the top of Z, right up at his head, up here. Now we're going to start with his Z hair. If you notice on top, he has one piece of hair and it's in the shape of Z. So we're going to have to do a couple of Z's. So this is a tricky part. Really watch carefully. I'm going to start up here by the edge of my paper and I'm going to make a letter Z, but my Z is not going to touch his head. See how I left this space? That's really important. So make your letter Z floating on top of his head. Then we're going to come back and we're going to make a shadow Z. That means we're going to follow the same lines, but we're not going to let them touch. Watch me. We're going to go over and down, and this time it gets to touch his head right there. So I made a shadow Z so that we can color it in, and then I'm going to connect the ends with little straight lines. So there's like a Z sitting on top of his head. Okay, so a letter Z floating, a letter Z shadow, and then a connection. Now we need his eyes. Oh, you guys are doing so good. He's turning out so cute, isn't he? His eyes are almost circles, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to curve like a circle up and curve like a circle down, and then I'm going to stop. Not a circle, almost a circle. And I'm going to do that again for his other eye. I curve up, and then I curve down, and I stop before I connect that circle. And then I'm going to add little rainbows into it. So I curve a rainbow here, and I curve a rainbow there. That's silly. Now, if you look while you're drawing, if you look at his eyes, you can see where there's the rainbow and then the little curve. And inside, he has a circle. So we're going to draw inside circles for his eyes. Around like that and around like that. Perfect. Good news. Okay, now we're going to draw his nose, which is kind of like a number 5. I'll show you what I mean. Right in the middle of his face, we go down, and then we go around a big plump nose. So it's almost a number 5. Oh, did you get it? Yours is looking really good. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Now remember, if you're making any mistakes, oh, where did it go? You can always use this really cool tool. It's an artist tool called an eraser. We use it in school all the time, but artists use it because if they make a mistake, they just erase and they fix it and they try their best. Sometimes it turns out really awesome and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes we have to be patient. Now, underneath his nose is something he eats with, his mouth. So we're going to start with a straight line. Zoop. Just like that. Makes him not look very happy, huh? So now underneath, I'm going to make a smile. Yay! Because he's usually pretty happy with us when he's playing at the clubhouse. And the last piece we need is his little Z that's right on his chest. I'll show you. Right there is another little letter Z. So we go zoop, zoop, zoop. And this is the fun part. We get to start coloring and adding our details. We have to decide where Z is going to be. Maybe he's at the clubhouse. Maybe he's outside playing. You can put him in space, yeah, or back on his planet, anywhere you'd like him to be. You're going to draw a horizon line. And you just decide if it's going to be smooth or if it's going to be a bumpy area. And then you need to add the details in the background to tell you where he is. I'm going to pretend he's back on his planet, and maybe there's a spaceship floating up here. So maybe there's a spaceship going around with another Z inside. Oh, my stars. You know what? That didn't turn out so well, but that's okay because that's just kind of what artists do. There's another Z floating in space, and maybe it's zooming that way. Yep. And maybe there's some moons and stars. So maybe I'll draw that in space, that kind of thing, so that you can decide where he's at. Then you get to start shading in. Now let me show you the one we did in our Geo Go Draw Zoom today. Here's another sample of how we started to shade in his Z and his green body. And we had to make sure that when we're shading that our elbow is on the table and we're just coloring it in. If our arm is up and we're scribbling, it's not going to look ready for first grade, and we really want to practice that. Now, if you're holding your crayon like this, if your crayon is getting gripped by 3 claw fingers, no claws, you want to practice your crabby fingers. And you might even do some crayon Olympics where we put our crayon in our hand and we crawl down to the end. We flip it and we crawl. That'll build your muscle. If when you're coloring you start to feel it's hurting, then you need to do muscle exercises every day so you build those handwriting and those coloring muscles. And then you're just going to slowly shade in. Now, did you see here? I added a window for the clubhouse and some stairs and a car that Z was sharing with his friends. So you could have Z inside. You could have Z, I'll have to go this way. You could have Z in space. You could have him outside anywhere you want. Now it's the fun part. You get to add all your details. I hope you enjoyed drawing Z with me today. Bye, friends.